you stuck on what to name your law firm? Or are you considering a rebrand to something that's more marketable? I have seen or made loads of mistakes when it comes to naming a law firm. And I will share with you in this video 8 tips when it comes to naming or renaming your law firm. My name is Jeff Hughes, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sterling Lawyers. We are a 25-plus attorney family law firm doing over $15 million in revenue. And my purpose here is to document what's working and what's not working with hopes that you can take that and recontextualize it and have the firm of your dreams. Tip number 1 when it comes to naming or renaming your law firm: choose a name that you like, that inspires you. And maybe it's a name that has multiple meanings kind of bound up in one name. Like in my particular case, our name, of course, is Sterling Lawyers. It's my middle name, Jeffrey Sterling Hughes. Turns out it's my dad's middle name. It's his dad's middle name. And I think it goes back one more generation in the Hughes family from my grandfather. And I remember once I talked to an attorney, and she had a great firm, doing very well. But she told me how much she disliked her name, didn't like it at all. And every time she heard it, it sounded like fingers on a chalkboard, kind of that grating sound. It wasn't inspiring for her. And every time she, I think, would go to do something to grow or build her firm, she kind of had to overcome that. It was like a littlest, tiniest roadblock in her way, the fact that she didn't like her name, and she was building the brand of her name, getting it out there. So I think it's so important. Maybe this is the most important of all of these 8 tips, but choose a name that you like, that you feel good about, that inspires you, even if you have to pay a little bit to get the domain name or whatever the case is. Years ago, I was naming a business and I got the name bizlab.com. And I remember it was $4,000. I didn't want to pay $4,000. And one of my coworkers said, "What's it worth to you have a name that you really love?" And that was a clincher for me. So I bought the domain name, still own it today, almost 15 years later. And I still love the name bizlab. It sounds really cool for what it was for. Tip number 2, make your name portable. Easy to remember, easy to share, easy for someone to say, yes, that's the such and such firm. That is so important when it comes to people sharing your current clients, past clients, word of mouth, whatever. It's so much easier to say, hey, it's the such and such, or the one thing, the one word, the Sterling firm, versus like a firm with 3 or 4 or 5 names in it. I saw a law firm once with 6 names in it. That is a super long mouthful. And some of the names were not even common names like Smith or Johnson or something like that. Obviously, a marketer did not name that firm. So I believe it's important to make your name portable, even if it's a bunch of names, 3 or 4 names, right? And you just go by the name of one for the people, the first one, right? Like my old firm, it was McLario, Hellman, Bertling, and that's a lot to say. I remember we always called it the McLario firm, and that's what it was known for, and I think that's what they go by more now today. Tip number 3, verify your name is available and that it doesn't infringe on another law firm's name. When we started here in Wisconsin, we did our due diligence. We made sure that another firm did not have the name Sterling in it, and it didn't. So we were good to go. We got the domain name, sterlinglawyers.com. We were so excited. I tried to buy sterlinglaw.com, and I think some dude in Nevada had it, and I reached out to him, and he just said, "Why would I ever sell you that name? It's my firm name." So I didn't get that name. But I got Sterling Lawyers. Wish I could have got Sterling Law, but we didn't get it. We got Sterling Lawyers. Here we are. But when we expanded into Illinois, so we're in Wisconsin, we expanded into Illinois, and about 3 months into it, I got a call, maybe it was an email, from a super frustrated other lawyer who had a law firm name that was quite similar to Sterling Law Office. I think his was the Sterling Law Firm or something like that. He didn't do family law. He did real estate. I think he still does real estate. I feel bad for the whole deal. Okay, I screwed it up. And he was pretty frustrated because he was getting applications to our firm that he had to deal with, and they were coming to his office. And so we went around and around, and it took us quite a while to work through that and get it all. We all settled it, and it's fine. And occasionally a client will reach out and to his office instead of ours, and it's something that we kind of have to keep dealing with. So I feel bad for that, but that's what happened, and we had to go through all of the mess of trying to fix that. Tip number 4, consider your digital marketing requirements. I have found that overly generic names like Chicago Divorce Lawyer, that doesn't tend to work out too well. You probably can't get the name under .com anymore. Those are long since purchased and snapped up, but you probably can get it under some of these new extensions like .law or something along, or .co or something like that. So, but I think it's wise to avoid overly generic names for purposes of digital marketing, SEO, and so forth. I think it's okay to consider your practice area information like Sterling Family Law. I think that is certainly okay, but it needs to fit naturally. It can't be something that feels forced and like just wedged in there. I think it should feel natural. Maybe that gets back to the inspiration part of the name. And when you're getting your domain name, go get all of the social media handles and all of the platforms that are as close as possible to that domain name. And if you can't get that exact one, get a variation in that, but use the same handle among all the social media channels if you can. Like for mine, at J Sterling Hughes is pretty much the same across all of the platforms that I am on and some that I'm not on. Tip number 5, understand name versus brand. The name of your firm versus the brand of your firm. This is an important distinction to understand. Your name is simply an identifier. It's an address. It's a way for someone to identify you. Your brand, however, is your reputation. It's the feeling. It's the association that other people get when they hear your identifier, your name. Don't confuse the two. Having a really cool name does not make a brand. Okay, a brand is something that's built over a long period of time, and it's built on how well you serve and take care of others and how much of a feeling of goodness and happiness that you're able to give them. Tip number 6, and I see this unfortunately more than it should exist, and that is this: avoid the naming obsession trap. So I know that there are attorneys out there right now thinking about starting a practice, but what's holding them back is they don't have the name down. They don't feel like they've got the right name for their firm, so they're kind of waiting. And they become so obsessed with getting the right exact name, especially as so many firms are starting to go in the direction of naming their firm something besides their last name, thinking that it will somehow impact their ability to attract clients, that it'll somehow impact their ability to be sold in the future. Look, if you're going to sell your firm, no one's going to buy it based on the name. They're going to buy it based on the value that the firm represents from a financial perspective. Will this name help me get more clients? Or at worst, will it be neutral to my ability to acquire clients? If your name somehow is a negative impact on your getting of clients, then obviously forsake that name altogether. Don't do that. So that's the test. Will this help me get more clients? And if not, then don't do it. If it's neutral, maybe. Tip number 7. This goes to the rebranding and the name change. Avoid changing your name at all costs. Commit to the name and just stick with it for the long haul. Unless it is a absolute must where you're getting sued and you will lose the IP lawsuit, don't change your name. Or unless you go from something that is a repelling clients to something that is attracting clients, which is a very unusual scenario. Don't change your name. You'll reset your brand recognition to 0. You will confuse existing clients and referral sources. You'll waste money on having to remarket and re-get the name out there, and all of the SEO engine juice that you're going to lose in changing your domain name. Do not do that. Resist that at all costs. If you have to remove a partner, hopefully that won't affect your online marketing part of it. I would just avoid changing the name as much as you possibly can resist ever doing that. Finally, tip number 8, focus your energy on marketing and building the law firm, not on the name. Remember, names don't drive firm value, profitability, financial health, systemized operations, the ability for someone to acquire a firm and let it continue to produce revenue from there on out without them having to do much to make that happen. It is an absolute myth that if you name a firm your last name, it's going to impact the sellability, the marketability of your firm down the road. That is not the case. Last names don't infringe, don't stop firms from being sold. For a deeper dive into what actually drives firm value, check out my video right here. What law firm numbers should I track first? And I will show you the exact metrics that matter most when building your law practice. Thank you, and I will see you over there.